All right. So welcome. So, you'll probably notice that it's saying resume and stuff. So, little backstory. I actually started playing this game a little bit ago, like years ago. But the problem was, I didn't like the computer controls, and I just kind of got distracted from it. I was really fascinated by the idea of this game because it's like, I think it's like American folk tales and like hitchhiking across the way, like a weird like magical, like semi-magical version of the United States. It's like across times, and it's like a weird time capsule, a weird indie game with fantastic art and an amazing soundtrack. Like I love the soundtrack for this game. But the thing is, this game starts you out. As soon as you open up the game the first time, it just starts you into the game. So that's why I have to start from here. But luckily, we can just go begin anew. And let's go. Are you sure? This will remove all your progress, empty your inventory, and start you from the very beginning. Yes. I don't think I had anything, so... By the way, the sound on this game is so crisp and nice. I love it.
Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
Go to the house.
You walk toward the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open.
Enter.
You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good.
That gentleman has an animal head. I forgot about that. Look around.
The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches.
Who else is here?
The man in gray across from you, though, he's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly, you can't quite catch him.
When?
One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in gray.
That's not gray, that's beige. So, feathers and harmonicas as well, I see. Pocket watch and Vita somewhere? Ooh, that's a really good hand.
Finally, it's just you and the man in gray. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand?
I'm in.
He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush. Spades. Aces high.
Nothing can beat me.
But the man in gray pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that.
Old.
The man in gray stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
Check cards.
Yep. 10, jack, queen, king, ace. All spades.
Have my word.
The man in gray smiles. All right, then. I'll call.
Show him. Congratulations, you signed your soul over to the devil. Oh, he pulled the old magical switcheroo. That's a beige coat, not a gray coat. Dire wolf.
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure, but more than that. Your labor. You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie. All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know. To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories, finding the seeds first and then spreading them, telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy. Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be true, but they'll grow wild and unbelievable with the telling. The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story. The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie?
I mean, you got me there.
Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
Okay, so this is he's teaching me how to this thing. So, a story of death, change, endings, and moving on. For Wheel of Fortune, so like all the tarot cards are here. Let's go with travel, justice, the world, morality. Let's go with a choice and morality one. Tell the story of the endless series of doors of different kinds, each leading only to more doors. You tell the
You sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story or a tragedy? Don't gather too many of one kind, though. This grand story needs variety.
So if that's the case, that one's used up. Let's go with a story of fortune. Tell the story of tossing a pair of bone dice on a blood-red velvet table. They come up snake eyes and wink at you. That is definitely creepy.
It's just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folks who already have problems aplenty. Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you.
Why specifically is he a dire wolf? I mean, does it have something to do with folk, or is that just a cool choice? Because I'd be terrified to see that guy across from me, especially since I just sold my soul to him.
It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard, but I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people.
The true shapes?
Not many who can do that.
Interesting. Travel. Tell the story of the northbound train blinking its giant eye as it crawls through the night.
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliche in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another.
Okay, that makes sense. The world. Heaven, desires fulfilled, wishes come true. Tell the story of the parting of a cloud of fog to reveal a brief glimpse of a land of promise and plenty.
Your deepest desires? Your greatest wish? Heaven? Big Rock Candy Mountain? El Dorado, the Promised Land, that place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine.
Almost title drop?
Well, I don't know where that is. It's It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people you meet. They're all searching for the same thing.
And last, the Tower of Death. Tell the story of a black and gray city where every building is filled with desiccated corpses. Yikes.
I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier, but still you'll feel pain. Hunger, weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories, the part not often told. And death, yes, but don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back. Go on your way, Seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience for you. I'm jealous in some ways. I hope you find what you're looking for.
Alright. I guess I'm doing... So yeah, that's the thing for the game. I need to check the sound real quick. Okay, I think that's gonna work. I want the sound up. Music... FS sounds. Let's get the music up a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, so our whole thing is to collect stories, and we're in the middle of nowhere. Oh no, we're in Maine. Doesn't look like any Maine I know. Let's look at this map real quick. Let's see. Progress. So there's 16 individuals whose true stories we have to find out. Inventory. Pair of bone dice loaded to roll snake eyes nearly every time. No other inventory items. Let's see what I got for I don't have any active stories. Oh, I don't. Oh, there's like 237 of them. Damn. Interesting. I can't seem to. Let's just keep moving and see how it goes. God, this music is great, though. What? Let's check this place out.
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway.
Strange.
The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. "Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?"
Sure.
You are about to hand her a smoke when those men draw pistols and shove you hard into the dirt. "You know these girls?" they demand.
No.
Once they've dumped your bag out into the road, they decide you're harmless. "If you were selling booze too, you'd have a lot more cash," sneers one. On the porch behind him, the two bootleggers are fingering their empty rifles, grinning in disappointment.
Move on. Okay, so we got a story already. So we want to have those stories continue on at some point. Canada-US border. Okay, so we're up in Maine right now. Let's just go collect stories. Just... Oh, it's like a music game to make me go faster. That's funny. Check this place out.
Off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree tied to a sturdy stick. The cloth wrapping conceals, though not particularly well, something large and softly unsettled. Little eyes blink back at you from inside the bundle.
Say hello.
The shape gives a start. "Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here," it says in a small voice.
Why not?
"Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore, but I want to go with him.
don't tell him, please. I'm hiding.
Far be it for me to tell him.
You tell the boy you'll keep his secret. You don't see his father anywhere. You don't see another soul for miles.
Oh. The boy who ran away with his father. So is there anything over here? Ah, just farmland. Okay. This is great music, but look at all those stories I can get at Portland. Hold on a sec. Is there a Portland, Maine, or a Portland, New Hampshire? Is there a Portland, New Hampshire? I'm not sure about that. Okay. Let's check this out right here.
They don't come every year, you know. The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore.
Ask why.
Just when the fishing is going to be good. He taps great, black, thick globs of spent tobacco out of a huge ceramic pipe. I got another year, I guess.
One more year of what?
Another year of this town being here, he replies, letting a grin spread across his face. If the seagulls came, that means enough fish to keep it in place.
Okay, it's like just another omen. That'd be a fun thing to talk about at a later date. Try this place.
The woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis. The confident stride and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. And wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise.
Oh, is this like that one story of the girl that, like a famous story where there's a girl who had like a ribbon around her neck, and when it was pulled off, her head fell off.
You question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date, and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon. Excuse me, can you step back from the coupe? That's the spirit. You decide to seek a second opinion.
Amen to that. That guy sounded awful.
You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes.
Approach the woman.
You ask the woman if you may join her at a public bench. You may. Lovely outside, isn't it? Her eyes are a beautiful shade of brown. Beneath the yellow ribbon, a thick, fibrous scar wraps around her throat. Weather like this, it reminds me of Paris.
I'm gonna move on. The elegant woman in the small town. Yep, that's not that's definitely a scary story.
You can see storm clouds on the horizon, and you don't relish the thought of being caught wandering this rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open, with a daunting staircase before you.
Climb up it.
At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level. Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door.
I'll put my ear to it.
Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough. Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door. Another man, this one with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead.
Oh, that's sweet. Little hideaway for these two.
After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand.
Didn't want to be out in this rain, did you? Come in.
Wait, I thought this was the rough dude.
Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard. Tea? He offers, hoisting a teapot.
Must be only up here.
Oh, we manage.
The tall one sits on the sofa, casually wrapping an arm around the other lighthouse keeper.
The quiet suits us just fine.
He needs his quiet time. He's a writer. The tall one grunts.
I dabble. But you must have some good stories from the road.
Well, I have some.
You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea. And cakes? There might have been little cakes. Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take your leave.
Alright, the two lighthouse keepers. Another cute little story. Alright, let's get down to Boston. Wow, we listen to this great music. I hate interrupting it, but... let's check out this place real quick before we go into the big city.
A dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, the driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another.
What's going on?
The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
He shouts.
Brother!
The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle.
Brother!
He screams. They embrace in the road.
30 years!
Hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him.
No! 32!
Oh, wow.
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling.
Take a photo of us!
The driver begs you. Starts hauling a tripod out of the bed of his truck.
Say cheese!
The long-lost brothers pose in front of traffic, cry snot pouring out of their noses. As angry passerby wave you out of the road, each brother presses a coin into your hand. When the traffic disperses, you realize they overpaid you quite a shocking amount.
Hell yeah. Got a story and I got money! So let's head into Boston with my hard-earned money. To Boston. Let's keep going. See. Boston. Red brick, green trees, blue sky. In this weather, Boston is beautiful. That is, until you make your way deeper into the city and get lost among the cramped, winding, shadow-haunted old streets. Yeah, sounds about right. Let's explore.
This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost. Bright light crests around one corner. A car approaching.
Hail the taxi cab.
Compelled by the cold and foreboding night, you don't question it as you drag your bones into the cab. But you realize immediately how strange the vehicle is. It's a sleek thing, like a shallow parabola gliding over the street.
Huh. Also, do we look like a skeleton to everyone else? I feel like everyone's having a pretty chill reaction to that if that's the case. I doubt it is, but it'd be very funny to see that.
Where to? He asks. You have to stop and think. Eventually, you name Boston Common, the only landmark you know in this town. He peels off silently. You feel the car move before you hear the engine.
Out the window.
He takes you through ever odder streets, flanked by painfully clean, gleaming buildings and signage for businesses you don't recognize. Even the air seems different. It doesn't smell so sharply of gasoline and coal. Eventually, you come to a stop. The fare's in glowing numbers above his dashboard. It's much too high. Surely a mistake. No charge, he insists. You look like you need a break. And then you find yourself on the curb at Boston Common, under thick moonlight, in a city much as you'd left it before.
Move on. The odd, silent taxi cab in Boston. Let's earn some money. You wander the streets of the city looking for a way to make some cash. Look for work. Digging holes, not what you had in mind, but damn, they're digging a lot of holes in this park. A foreman assigns you to a work group with a mix of other disheveled men and women and sends you off to dig a pit by the water fountain. What's this about? Nobody wants to say. A young woman keeps mouthing something to you across the hole, but you can't make it out. What is she saying? Dear Lobby? Dave Hobby? Dean Bobber? You never get anyone to admit what this is all about, but you get paid pretty okay. Okay. What can I get from the store? Well, I'm pretty good on money and stuff, so I really don't need like get some clam chowder. Well, let's re-enter the city real quick. Train station? To New York or Detroit? Nah. Let's just keep moving along this way. Okay, I can't. There's a story over here. I need that story. Give me the story. My whole job is to collect stories. Gotcha.
Outside the small thicket of apple trees, the phrase "tended to by John Chapman" is carved into a fence post. Nearby, a hound lies on its side, perfectly still. Flies buzz around its ears. But a grizzled man pauses at his digging to shoo them off.
Watch from the shade.
You settle in beneath a fence post and brush a couple of flies from the dog's face. The man nods. Much obliged. He kept me company when I moved from orchard to orchard, but he breaks off. For a while, the only sound is the shink of the shovel in the dirt.
Ask him about his dog.
He's a stray. I gave him some scraps one day while I was selling trees, and he just followed me after that. He tells you stories as he digs, about his travels, about planting apple trees. Every so often, he turns to look at the still figure lying by the fence.
Wait, is this gonna be like the origin story for the Johnny Appleseed thing? Because that'd be really fun. Because that's a fun little American folktale, even though I think it was manufactured a lot later in American history than people like to say.
He shakes his head. Nearly there. When the hole is deep enough, He lowers the dog reverently into the grave. I'll see him again in heaven, he tells you. His soul is bound to mine. I don't think I can bear to stay here, though. Maybe I'll set out again.
Oh, that's so sad. John Chapman, his orchard, and his dog. Oh, that's so sad. Camp. Ooh, a camp. Quinn. By Clarice. Oh, hey.
Hey there, stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this fire with me. If you're respectful, that is.
I guess this is our first, of the true stories, I guess. Already he gives me Huck Finn vibes, but we're a little bit too far east for that, aren't we?
This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with any bad characters. You can call me Quinn.
Pleasure to meet you, Quinn. I can see you're a fellow dog lover, so I approve.
These here are my venturing companions. Cass is the big un, and the one with the spots is Flip.
Aw, I love them already.
I usually beat my way on the rails, but the road news said this town was fat, and the weather was fine. So I'm taking in the sights and seeing what I can drum up. I'm in the mood for something real funny-like.
Okay. Here are all the stories you've collected so far. They're organized by subject because the boss likes the tarot cards. This is the subject of each story here. If you tell this person a story about love, for example, they will tell you something from their own life relating to the subject of love. Poor things. As the night goes on, this icon will move left to right. When it reaches the right side, the night is over and so is your storytelling. The person you're talking to will usually tell you where they'll be next so you can find them again. If you tell them the types of stories they request, you'll gain their trust and the eye will open. When it opens fully, the next time you meet them, they'll open up more about their life. They'll remember this from conversation to conversation, so don't feel you need to open the eye all the way the first time you meet someone. Dance around, get to know them. Yeah, I think I like that. This accent is really speaking to me. Wait, does everyone have southern accents? I'm not quite sure, honestly, Charu. So far, I'm still in the... I'm like, bordering the Appalachians. I just got out of Boston, honestly. So I have no idea why this guy's here yet. Let's see. He wants a funny story, so... sadness, heaven, maybe something under family? The boy who ran away from his father, the two brothers who wrecked... No, that's not funny. That's sad. Future. That's not a good one either. Woman arrested for bootlegging, I mean, that's kind of funny, I guess.
Not sure I quite follow that one.
Oh.
Authority, bosses and such. I ain't nobody's little Angelina, if that's what you're asking. I take care of myself and my dogs.
Oh, is Quinn a girl? I don't know.
I don't need no jocker looking out for me, so if you're offering, don't. Shoot, I thought I told you to be respectful.
Is it specifically the Appalachian accent? Because country roads take me home. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes as we go along, but, like, a lot of this game is very folk-driven. You'll probably like... I don't know if you were here to listen to some of the Vagrant song music, but there's a very Appalachian twang to it, but as we go south, I know that it turns into southern music. The more southern twang, because it's the same song, but different regions.
You want to keep enjoying my spot or not? Think about that. I want to hear one of them venturing tales. Got any?
Got any? Adventure and Tales. John Chapman, his orchard, and his dog around Boston, maybe? Maybe. Tell the story of the boy who ran away from his father in Maine. I kind of like that one.
Ain't life got enough tearjerkers in it without telling stories like that? Jeez.
I thought it was adventuresome, but I guess it was kind of sad.
My family. There ain't no way I'm gonna start jaw-flapping about those bastards. Judases, the lot of them. Enough said.
Yikes. Also, it's very intimidating for you to just have that knife out like that. I feel like you're gonna attack me.
Hey, tell me a funny story. You seem like you still got a sense of humor.
I don't know if I actually have any funny stories, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not sad. That's a sad story. No. The Elegant Woman. The Orchard. That's not funny. That's kind of romantic. I guess we can go with the story of the seagulls and the fisherman near Portland, Maine. God, I have, like, no stories for this kid.
What's the use in telling sweet, happy tales if in they make you snooze?
Okay, that story did not ring to me of being happy.
What's my future look
Oh, yeah,
like?
no, it did, because the omen was pretty positive, I guess.
I ain't looking for a traveling companion, if that's what you mean. I do fine by myself, so just stick to minding your own. You got any happy stories?
I do, I think. I mean, I consider them happy, but I consider this story happy. The two lighthouse keepers near Portland, Maine. The lovely couple.
Sometimes I need a tale like that just to remind me it's not all depressed out there.
There you go. Yay, I actually got some progress with him. With her.
Love stories. Huh. Folks sure seem to be eat up with the notions of love. Singing and talking about it all the damn time. Not sure I see the appeal myself. I'm in the mood for something real funny like.
Kid, I got bad news for you. I just got a story about a guy burying his dog in an apple orchard and a woman from France who has like a really knotted scar around her neck. Here, learn about a guy burying his dog. Oh no, that's a bad idea. He has two dogs. No, that was a bad idea.
Sure was a downer. Give me a good venture tale instead any day. Wishes come true, huh? If I had to say, it'd be great to have red beans and rice cooked with some fatty bacon.
Bacon.
Supposed to be a Mississippi River specialty, but I ain't never had it. Well, night's over. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way.
Okay, so he's going towards Pennsylvania. Got it.
Didn't understand all your stories, but I'd gladly listen to more if I see you again.
Yeah, and I'll gladly...
Camping life suits me just fine. Every day's adventure. With things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good. But it ain't.
Wait. I just recognized something. That voice actress. Is that Clementine from Telltale's The Walking Dead? I'm gonna have to look that up later, because she sounds exactly like Clementine from that series. And Clementine was like one of my favorite video game characters.
Plenty nice things to see if and you know where to look.
The Hobo Kid. Okay, I could have gone off... I'm down in Massachusetts, Connecticut area. Let's collect more stories. As you walk down the road, a black crow flutters down to land in your path. It looks at you, cocks its head, and speaks. Well, aren't you a long road ahead, don't you? All these people to chase down, or so I hear. It laughs. I got some experiences when it comes to chasing folks. Tell me about it. It's not every day I get to talk to a crow. Why would I ignore it? Well, if you want, you could go find your friend again. Ask them more about their life. They might want better stories this time, though. It peers up at you. Didn't they tell you where they're heading next? But hey, the world is full of people. Bet you could find another friend like that if you went around looking around. There's more than one interesting person in this land for sure. It gives a gravelly laugh. Ah. That's what humans say anyway. And with that, it launches in the air and disappears. Wait, that wasn't a story? I literally had a talking raven. There we go. Stories.
His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours.
You got a light, friend?
Sure. Why is there a pentagram?
You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar.
Thanks.
He mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip.
So where are you going?
Don't rightly know where I'm going.
You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper.
Don't rightly know how I got going either.
Why?
They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet.
He drags on the cigarette, but you never see him exhale.
Oh, that's a red flag? I don't know. The last bottle of Armagnac. Alright, and what about you? What story you got for me? Oh, this one doesn't have a person voicing it. Interesting. Like, is there a reason for that? Dust Bowl devastation. This man reads the newspaper with barely contained horror, his grimace spreading wider and wider as he makes his way down the page. Suddenly, his frown cracks into something with a little more amazement in it. Whoa, he says. What's the matter? He reads out a story about the blessed lighthouse sanctuary where souls in love could find respite. You're shocked. It's the story of the two lighthouse keepers, but with some bits changed. Do you think that's really happened? He asked. Oh yeah. Shrugs. Sounds like nonsense to me for sure, he says. What stuff they print these days. Oh, interesting. The story grew. So instead of being about, where was it? So now it's a story about, where was it? So now instead of just being like two guys that were finding like refuge and having like a nice romantic getaway in the lighthouse, it's now a magical lighthouse where anyone who's in love can find help. That's really fun. Alright, let's go to the Big Apple. New York City, baby! The air stinks of gasoline and trash, and you're boxed in by brick, but damn, there's something invigorating about the stink. God, you feel like there's an engine in your chest. That sounds unhealthy. Fresh bagel, slice of pizza, spaghetti plate, and a sandwich. I don't need any of that stuff right now. Let's earn some money real quick. You wander the streets of the city for a way to make some cash. Panhandle. Sit down across the street from a Catholic church. The bulky building behind it looks like a school, but the kids don't congregate on this street, so no one comes to chase you away from them. You get a couple coins before lunch, but it gets slow in the middle of the day. Keep waiting. At noon, the bell rings up this church steeple, followed shortly by a school bell echoing through the maze of outbuildings. That's a typo. That upper part was a typo. That kind of fucked with me for a second. A minute later, a door pops open and a nun starts crossing the street towards you with a tray in her hand. Hello. Smiling broadly, she says something kindly in a language you don't recognize and lays the tray on the street. It's school food. Bad school food. Damp sandwich with a single slice of cheese, withered apple, bowl of grayish chicken soup. The glass of apple juice seems good as any, though. Thank you. Start shoveling the food down. It's bad. The sandwich cheese is revoltingly slimy, and the chicken soup is so salty your tongue feels like an assassinated snail. The nun is grinning at you, commenting now and again in that language you don't recognize. Yum, yum, yum. You offer the tray back. Before she takes it, the nun lays a hand on your shoulder. God bless you, she pronounces, and her thick, buttery accent makes her sound like she might really be speaking for him. Despite the foul meal, you feel strangely renewed. Aw, that's nice. Well, let's add a story.
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly.
Let's listen to the couple. Actually, no, I have a love song already. Let's get one of these travel songs. Talk to the man.
The man gives you a once-over as you approach. His newsboy cap is ragged with age.
You look familiar. Did I meet you at Union Square?
Union Square?
The demonstration. It got bloody, but I'm used to that after Italy.
He claps a hand to his hat to steady it from the breeze.
When Gramsci was arrested, many of us had to flee. I came into New York, and here I continue our efforts. The workers' voices will be heard.
Oh, nice. So is he like a refugee from like when the Italians, from the unification of Italy in like the 1800s then? Or something like that? Like, because I know that around that time there'd be a lot of Italian immigrants coming in, fleeing the political unrest that was happening in Italy at the time as it was slowly starting to unite into the Kingdom of Italy, which would then become Mussolini's Italy, but we're not going to talk about that. But it also sounds like he's a unionizer. Cool. Good on him. The determined socialist in New York. Ah, okay. So a little bit more than that. Nice.